Today's planning concept is not based on a major master plan with a big design for the city's expansion, as was the case perhaps 150 years ago. Now it's more like a patchwork made up of various quarters that expanded in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s around the events of the times. In the next 20 to 30 years, new elements will be added, making Zurich into a city of the 21st century. It will be a new city expanding from a big city.
Ein Stück Stadt am Rand der großen Stadt.
Anyone who has been pushed out of Zurich finds himself here, outside the city, in an apartment. He lives as if in a city, but he's out on the land where the disadvantages of the land are combined with those of the city. A long commute to work, a small apartment, no garden. The desired vision is that we end up with city quarters that are mixed, that are well connected by urban transit, where housing has shops on the ground floors and cultural facilities, and activities are easy to reach. In other words, not the experience we've had in the recent past. Residential zones and separate commercial zones. That model has little future. Do you like it here?
Not especially, no.
Why not?
Well, first the airplane noise, and then we're isolated here. When you live out here, you have to have a car, and then any major shopping is in the city. There are hardly any places here to shop. They're too far apart.
There, in front of us, is an Aldi. And further on, there will be a large Migros supermarket. Here, that's our house. We couldn't wish for better than that. It's really lucky that we can fish here, that we don't need a fishing license. And we have nice weather and a little fun. I've lived here for 3.5 years. Over there, in that new white building. Cities will emerge where there is attractive public transport. 5 years ago, this was a small suburban train station. Now the Wallisellen station is a piece of the big city and has formed its own urban complex. This all happened in just a few years. We need incentives like the Glattal Bahn here in order to drive urban development. We're not out in the green. We are already where the important infrastructures are. The highway that we're now crossing over, in fact, it's the section with the highest traffic load in Switzerland. This is reality. Every day there's a traffic jam, a bottleneck, which is the status quo. Farther to the left, there's the next largest high-density area, now called the Richti area. The projects come one after another. The plan is to install shops on the ground floor, which will offer almost as much sales area as in the neighboring shopping center. That's how cities happen. It's said that this was once the most expensive meadow in Europe. An industrial zone was planned, but now they're developing many apartments, close together, and more workplaces too. At some point, it will be the largest city quarter to emerge outside the city of Zurich.
Zurich Flughafen Airport.
We now come to one of the most important public transport nodes in the entire country. It's not only the airport, there's also a major railway and bus hub, not only of the entire agglomeration of Zurich, but also for all of Switzerland. We want diversity, and that means in addition to the settlements, that landscape and agriculture form an important balance in the area. In addition to the settlements, we also want natural spaces as green belts. Then there are also the water bodies that should be restored to serve as a backbone for development. Even if we want dense settlements, we also want attractive landscape spaces, and these can be used as a soothing diversity. Not everything has to be designed. Rather, there is a productive landscape, there's a meadowland, and there's agricultural land.
Landwirtschaft und Landschaft sind eng miteinander verbunden.
Landscape is, of course, created through the activities of agriculture. When agriculture disappears, then the landscape loses its appeal.
Wenn die Landwirtschaft ihre Berechtigung nicht mehr hat in der Landschaft, dann verliert auch die Landschaft an Reiz.
Agriculture supports the goal of spatial planning, especially in the density of the city and urban spaces. Because with density, one can prevent the settlements from sprawling more and more at the edges, allowing it to be zoned again for more housing. Agriculture again loses more productive land.
Agriculture
also has its traditional rules and regulations for cultivation. But agriculture also keeps developing further. And in this case, it's very important that the general framework can be set so that ecology also plays an important role and contributes to keeping the landscape attractive.